Hey y'all, welcome back to the Untagged Podcast. My name is Melanie.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Yvette.
And I'm Mariko.
And this is Untagged.
All right, we're going to start this off with some hot laps. Melanie, let's go.
Today, my hot lap is that I am recovering from being sick, and I'm so happy to be here because I missed it, and I don't want to be sitting in my house sicky.
I know. I feel like everybody's been sick lately. Oh my God. Me too.
For my hot lap, my garden is doing great. And I got a trailer. I finally got a trailer.
I'm really excited for you.
I know. Thank
Me
you
too.
to the best boyfriend ever.
Yes. Good job.
I don't really have a hot lap. I was trying to think of what I wanted to talk about.
That one just came off the spot right now.
I know, but
Did you interview anyone cool?
I did. We interviewed Kevin Bash, but that was the highlight of my week for sure.
She bought us coffee.
I did. I didn't even know Kevin Bash was going to be in our interview, and then I was running late, and I call her, and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. She's like, yeah, make sure you bring a coffee for Kevin Bash. I was like, he's coming? That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It's good.
Good job, guys.
Boom.
It was a great one.
It was Mother's Day, and I got to spend my Mother's Day in Carlsbad, and I was really excited to go there with my family. We got to go see the flower fields, which would have been really awesome if we didn't catch it in the last week. So, like, the acres and acres of, like, wildflowers that we were supposed to see were actually dead. But I did learn something cool that towards the end, what they do is they bulb them and they sell them and repackage them so people can have really beautiful flowers later on in the next season.
That's awesome.
That's actually pretty cool.
Did you buy any?
I didn't because they weren't ready yet. They're farming them because they were all dead.
Oh.
Are we ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today we're talking about small town rodeos.
Today I chose the Grosbeck Rodeo, and for those of you that watch our Instagram, you may or may not know that Untacked is officially sponsoring this rodeo coming up.
Yay!
It's going to be our first one, and I'm really excited. Thank you to those that are making it happen. Grosbeck Rodeo is important because it was established in 1871, and it was named after Abram Grosbeek. I want to say it has 2 E's instead of 1. He was a director of the Houston and Texas Central Railway. So because of this, it was preserving Western heritage, and then it just grew from a local traditional rodeo to then a small gathering, and then actually went to pro-level events. They are included in the UPRA, so most of us know the PRCA, which is a Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, but they are included in the United Professional Rodeo Association, which I thought was pretty cool.
Is that
That's pretty cool.
Is that like a step up
I'm not too sure, actually.
from the PRCA?
I'm not too sure.
Huh.
I would think maybe the United is within, the United States.
Yeah.
But the PRCA would be like international.
I
But
believe you're right, because I know you guys from Brazil come to compete too in the PRC, right?
I think so, yeah. And like people from Canada. Yeah, I believe you're right.
That might be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm pulling it out of
Yeah. Correct us if we're wrong, but I think that's true.
Yeah, maybe.
So it just kind of grew over the years, and because of that, Central Railway, it made it a lot easier for people to transport like agricultural goods and do farming. It like made their production kind of just spread out more than just Grosbeck, because if you look on the map, it's just a little place. It's about 55 an hour away from Waco. So being that far away from like the major towns and the major cities, I'm sure it could be hard to dispense all of your goods. So having that railway right there just made it a lot easier for them to grow.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
So now the rodeo has progressed. They have modern entertainment that has all types of heritage. They have a live mariachi. They do theme nights. They have all types of vendors. We will be there this year. I'm so excited. Charitable events go on and things like that. So I'm just really looking forward to it and learning more about, the culture and what goes on at this rodeo, and to see, like, get my hands on and watch it all live.
You better be interviewing a lot of people, girl. There.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shopping for me. Get me some good stuff. What kind of themed nights do they have?
I'm not, 100% sure. When I was doing some research, it just said themed nights, as in, like, I'm sure how we have here.
Kinda like
They
how we
do
have here. Yeah,
Back
yeah,
the
yeah.
Blue. We have,
Yeah,
the
that
breast
makes
cancer
sense.
awareness, the stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Do they have any like famous events that they're known for?
Not that really sparked my eye as anything different than what we do. It did say that that like the local traditional things were to get the kids involved. So they do a lot of mutton busting
I love that.
and the calf riding and stuff like that for the younger kids. So that way they're involved earlier on to then grow up in the rodeo scene.
That's
Because
really
I
cool.
looked it up and a lot of it is the mutton busting. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we have that here, but
cute.
I can only imagine how important it is for them there to get those kids involved now.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
I agree. That one's
Cool.
pretty cool.
It's a good
I
one.
like
Yeah.
that. I'm talking about the Brawley Cattle Call Rodeo, and I chose the Brawley Cattle Call Rodeo because I have experience. We both have
Yes.
been to that rodeo.
Well, it was really fun when we went. We had
Yeah.
a good time.
I had a blast. That was my first time going camping with my horse.
Me too.
And that was like my first time like doing something like that. So for me that was like really cool. And then when they said we were going to talk about small town rodeos, I was like, "Oh my gosh. I have to do that one because Brawley is on the way to Glamis and I love it." So every time I hear Brawley, I'm just like it makes me think of Glamis. So good memories always. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've been to that rodeo." I was like, I want to learn more about it, so why not do that one? And it turns out that Brawley is one of the Brawley Cattle Call Rodeo is one of the longest standing rodeos in Southern California. Brawley Cattle Call Rodeo began in 1957 and has since become one of the longest running PRCA rodeos in Southern California. They have something similar to us, like how we have Horse Week. They have the Brawley Cattle Call Jamboree. So they also have a chili cook-off, but theirs is the chili cook-off and a rib contest.
Ooh.
And then they have mariachi night.
Yeah.
A lot of these rodeos have mariachi night.
Yeah.
Well, Brawley has a very large population
Yeah.
of Hispanics there. Mm-hmm.
They have the chili cook-off, mariachi night, the cattle call parade, and the rodeo itself features Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, also known as the PRCA, sanctioned events including bareback riding, saddle broncs riding, steer wrestling, tie-down roping, team roping, and barrels. But also, I remember there being an event. I don't quite know what it's called, but it's where they have the wild horses and the
Yes.
cowboys
I was
holding
gonna
them.
ask you about that.
I loved
It's
watching
so
that.
cool.
And I want to say that I've seen that at one other rodeo and I can't remember which one, but we don't see that here at
I've
all of our
never
rodeos,
I've
and I
never
thought that
seen
was
it.
so exciting to watch.
Yeah. And they would do it all of the days, and every time they did it, it was just like, they're coming out. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool to watch.
No, literally, I was
Yeah.
like trying to make my way to the front at the gates, like, come on, Rebel, you're
It's
not
beautiful.
standing next to your friends. I want to watch. So we sit up there and got to
Can
watch
you guys
it.
explain for those that haven't been there or don't know what it is, like what exactly happens?
There's 4 people. Was it 4 people?
Well, I don't remember how many people were out there. I just remember that at the end of every rodeo, they would bring out all the wild horses, and they would all just come out, and they would just like play music, and it was just like this beautiful scenery because
Yeah.
like the sun was going down, and it was just so like in awe to watch all these horses just run back and forth. And
I
it was
will
just so
say,
beautiful.
one of my favorite things from that rodeo was when we were going in for our farewell and they let all the wild horses in to run with us. It was insane, and I wish I was able to take a video in that time because you're literally riding in the arena with all of the bucking horses, all the wild horses that were just in that rodeo, and they're all running in the arena with us just having a blast. And it was like so cool to experience, especially going to a rodeo 3 hours away, having to stay there and be there together and do it all and be a part of that was so cool.
And the people, like the audience,
Yes.
was just so happy to be there. Like they were
Yes.
just so involved. Everybody was cheering. Like you can get the crowd going just by waving, and it was just so cool. Like it's just such a nice community. It was a nice rodeo.
I love
It
when the
was.
crowd's loud.
I did
It was
too.
definitely it's definitely become one of my favorite
too.
rodeos ever since, especially being able to experience it myself.
Mhm.
I wanted to bring Yvette's dog in this episode because I was like, oh my gosh, you were there too. And I remember his little cute self standing in the trailer, just looking out when when we went to go clean your stalls.
Yeah.
And we were out there, your dog was just staring at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. But I will
I wanted
never.
to go so bad.
I will never, ever, ever forget that.
I know.
Rodeo
That was
ever.
the one rodeo I wanted
Especially
to do.
that was
the
like
only rodeo I wanted to do out of all the rodeos was the Brawley
Yes.
We'll
rodeo.
go back one day.
and so for me, like that was my first time like traveling to a rodeo. That was my first time like going anywhere with Rebel, like besides like hometown rodeos or like the sheriff's rodeo. So that was just like all around really exciting.
All of my retired friends that live here in Norco, that's the one rodeo that they all travel and camp to and plan a whole like 3-day weekend. They all camp there. They spend their time. They actually coordinate, like they get firewood delivered at the campsites and they do like a whole thing. And so they had told me that the Brawley Rodeo would be the best rodeo to go to out of all the rodeos that get booked.
Ooh, and I do want to say thank you so much to SoCal Fence and Barn for the
Yes.
sturdy portable stalls. I was very
Saved
nervous
the
about
day.
it because I have a horse with one eye. And again, that was my first time traveling anywhere with a horse or especially like with him. So it was very nerve-wracking, but knowing like that he was in such like a stable environment in that area.
Yeah.
In his rockin' pink stall was pretty
Mine
awesome.
I was worried because my horse is a pretty big boy, like a hefty boy. But not just that, he is like, I don't want to say he's clumsy, but
He's a
if
ditz.
a horse can get into something, it would be him. And I was like, he's going to just like take it with him. He was going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
But no, he respected his boundaries and the work, it was perfect.
Yeah, no, and it was really easy to set up
Yeah.
and
So
take
definitely
down.
check out SoCal Fence and Barn. We love you guys. They are truly just a really great company with really good quality.
Yes, and they're always willing to support their hometown, like
Yeah,
their
their hometown.
town.
They
Yeah,
support us. And
they
this
do.
is a plug, but not a plug. So check out SoCal Fence and Barn. All right, well, I'll go.
Yep, Yvette's turn. I'm excited for this one.
All right. No, I didn't mean to scream in the thing.
How many cue cards you got?
I have a lot. Well, it's because it's such a...
I made a
hard.
book, but I made mine a little bit
It
too
was
confusing,
hard.
so I didn't get through everything, but I
Okay.
got through all the stuff that was on my mind.
She got like 20 cue cards here. She's
Calm
like mad because we
down.
like weren't
No
sharing her
wonder
one
I
cue
had to
card.
make a book out of
Give me my
mine.
cards.
I'm like, damn, I only
You need to
took
make
one.
more. All right. Well, when we talked about memorable small town rodeos, I knew that I wanted to talk about charreria, like a Mexican rodeo. But there wasn't one that I could narrow down and I could say like, yeah, this is one that I want to make sure to point out. But I knew that most of, if not almost all, in the past like several, or at least couple decades, have been at Pico Rivera Sports Arena. So I thought it would be fitting to at least talk about that, if not a specific rodeo. Pico Rivera Sports Arena is more than just a venue. Pico Rivera has stood as a cultural landmark where generations of Mexican families gather to celebrate our roots. It is a mecca for charreria in the United States. My journey as a woman in charreria and writing for my home team of Pico Rivera Sports Arena, this arena wasn't just a place where I performed. It was a place that I formed unbreakable bonds with my Escaramuza sisters. It was where I had some of the most memorable moments, but mostly it was a place where I represented my traditions and honoring the legacy of my father. So for me, it's always going to be a special place in my heart because it's always going to be a memorable place where my dad tightened my saddle for me, or I would see my mom in the stands cheering for me when I rode. And blood, sweat, and tears in that arena. And most of the charros and escaramuzas in United States have all at least ridden there
I feel you
twice in
so
their
hard
life.
right now.
Like people when they come from
I'm
Mexico,
crying.
charros and escaramuzas, when they come from Mexico, they go to Pico Rivera Sports Arena. And it is definitely it's keeping our traditions, and it gives us all a home base for our culture. So it's definitely something that I appreciate, and I wanted to at least point out.
So interestingly enough, thank you for being vulnerable like
I was gonna
that.
say
Yeah,
I
that was
felt it
beautiful.
so hard. I literally almost started crying with you. Like I said,
Yeah.
I just felt it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
And not that I'm trying to lighten this mood up or anything, but I actually did not believe Yvette when she told me that there were no like small town rodeos in Mexico. I was all, I don't believe it. I like went on ChatGPT, I went on Google, I went on all sorts of hunts looking, and I like narrowed down the search. And there really are not any like ongoing small town like rodeos, or how you would say charrerías.
Charrería.
And in the Pico Rivera arena is like the number one spot for being like the Mexican heritage. Like this is where charrería is happening in the United States. So it's actually a very pivotal place to be like in that arena. So I can see why it's so special to you.
Yeah. And it's been around since 1979, off and on. And we were very fortunate when the Lopez family took it under their wing, and then they recreated it and made it what it is today. Because it is very hard, even now, for American rodeos to have a spot to do rodeos. Like it's very difficult, especially in LA. So for them to keep this alive, it's just something that we all just really appreciate. And yeah, it's been around since 1979. And the funny thing is that my sister rode in the first escaramuza for Pico Rivera. So she rode in the escaramuza of Pico Rivera Sports Arena. Later on, when the Lopez family purchased it, and their team was called La Noria. I rode for La Noria for a really long time with my sister and everything. So it was my home base and where I got to compete, and would wake up early in the morning and go practice there, rain or shine. I have eaten dirt. I have been kicked. I've been everything in that place. But I had, it was just more than just an arena for us.
Pico Rivera is not like how we have like the Norco rodeo, or Brawley has the rodeo. Like at the Pico Rivera arena, there's charrerías like every weekend.
I would call it more like how George Ingles arena here in Norco. It's like that, but all of the rodeos are just done by Pico Rivera Sports Arena. Like the George Ingles is more like the city owned. This is owned by the Lopez family, and they are the ones that hold every
Host
event.
everything.
Yeah.
They do it because in charrería we're also federated, like the PRCA. We have the Federación de Charros, and we have to pay to be a part of it. We pay our membership fees and everything, and they hold all of the competitions. So we have like our state championships. We have to do each one, our nationals and all that, to be able to get to the next level.
The highest, yeah.
Yeah.
I love listening to her talk about escaramuza and charrería and all.
She
Like,
has me
when
convinced I
she
want to join a escaramuza.
No, seriously, like whenever she
riding side saddle already.
Yes. Oh my god. I loved it. It was so comfortable. Like it's definitely something I would do again. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was having fun.
The triceps were tricepping.
They were.
tricepping.
But no, seriously, like hearing you talk about it all, like when like you start getting emotional about it, like I start getting emotional with you. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I just really think that, when people say like, oh, there's a certain thing that makes you the person that you are, charrería is what made me like who I am. And it is a part of everything that has been positive in my life. It's a legacy that I keep dear to me because it was what my dad showed me. And now that he's not here, like I continue to do it with so much pride and talk about it with so much pride because like I feel like that's him,
I really wish I would have known you in this like portion of your life. For sure. I would have liked to see you doing all of that.
I
and
was
I would have
really
really liked to know.
badass.
I would have really liked to know.
You
I
still are
believe it.
badass.
She was barrel racing in a side saddle. I
know.
believe it.
I was doing the wrong form.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
Dude,
cares.
you went out there side saddle, never doing it, never nothing before, so who gives a shit? Rebel went out there and did that with one eye.
All I gotta say is that he would be really proud of everything that
Yes.
you're accomplishing and you continue to do. So
Thank you.
he's definitely that orb that follows you around.
Thank you. Same to you.
Okay. I don't even know how to pick up off of that because that was just so
Touching.
touching. And then now we have to go into something that's not so touching.
Well, that's a great way to end it.
Okay, so small town rodeos, and I ended up picking a rodeo that I've actually never been to, but I've heard a lot about it, and so I have a lot of interest. It's actually, yes,
Can we go?
yes, I would love that. It's actually July 4th though, July 4th
Aw.
weekend. I know. So this is the oldest proclaimed rodeo in rodeo history. It started in 1888, July 4th of 1888. So I want you guys to picture something really quick. Have you guys heard of Tombstone?
Yes.
Okay, and Tombstone, you've all seen the movie, like
Yes.
long Jack.
I've been to Tombstone,
Never
Arizona.
watched the movie?
Oh my God, she's
Whoever
never seen
watched
Tombstone.
it?
She's
I-
never seen
Who
Tombstone.
was that?
Can we create a counter for people to take a poll? Who's seen Tombstone?
Hey, I've been to
named-
Tombstone, Arizona.
Dang,
Her
Oh
dogs
my
are named after
God.
Tombstone.
Huh?
And her dogs are named after Tombstone. And when
Yes.
Kyle just
Oh
made me
my
watch it like 3
gosh.
weeks ago.
It's-
You never watched it before?
No, that's why I'm laughing at this whole scene. Is because
Oh my
I haven't
gosh.
watched it.
Oh my God.
That's
And then-
why I said I haven't watched it. My dogs are named after
Oh
them.
my! You
And
cannot be in the horse world and not have watched this
I
movie.
just
I just
watched
don't
it.
understand it. Oh my!
Like
goodness.
75% of it because I fell asleep. But anyways,
What?
then yes,
You
isn't
fell
it-
asleep.
Not like
You fell asleep?
watching it. Like I was busy and I got sidetracked. Like we went to bed. But then stop. Why do you guys always make it weird? I didn't
They
finish
got
watching the rest of
sidetracked
it.
in bed.
Lord help me. But then I'm watching the movie and I'm sitting there and I go, Yvette's dog's name is Ringo. And he goes, yeah, like
Johnny
everyone
Ringo.
yes. And then I go, oh my gosh, Yvette's dog's name
Virgil.
is Virgil. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this right now. And I'm like, whatever. So anyways, that's why I thought it was funny that you said you had it because your dogs are literally named after it.
I
Don't
going back
even know
to
what
this Tombstone. Imagine an era where it's like dirt roads and it's like like guns and stuff,
Norco.
and yeah, totally like Norco, exactly.
I was like, Sierra Avenue.
On your way to 6th
Yeah.
Street Circle K.
1888 in Prescott. So Tombstone and Prescott, they have a very close correlation because they're so close to each other that all the wildest Western cowboys in the world, well, the nation at that point, would travel to this place in Prescott to go to this old cowboy rodeo.
In
I saw
wagons?
Something on TikTok about it or something.
Yeah, huh?
In wagons?
I am 100% positive they arrived in wagons.
Well,
That's
she
cool.
rode in a
1888.
wagon.
In 1888, for sure. Yes, that's a good song. So they started this rodeo, and actually at the time it wasn't even called a rodeo. It was called a cowboy tournament.
Ooh.
Yes. And what made this special and why they self-proclaim, also somewhat proclaimed the oldest rodeo, is that this cowboy tournament, people actually paid admission. So this is the first place where people ever paid admission to get into this rodeo. And they had a purse because they were paying. There was a purse for the cowboys that were competing in the tournament. So it made it the oldest place for people to be considered PRCA,
Oh.
pro-sanctioned rodeo.
No way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Purse.
Yes, they got a purse there. So they had all sorts of buck and bronco events. They had all sorts of like roping and steer events. But what I actually thought was even cooler is that they had women bronc riders.
Yes.
Really?
Can you
Oh
believe
my
that? Like in
goodness.
1888, there's some women bronc riders riding around in their dresses.
I was gonna say, is that even before women were allowed to wear jeans?
Yes,
So they were just bucking it in dress.
buck wild in their dresses.
Hell yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
There were some like
That's
buck
pretty
wild
cool.
women in that time.
Pretty
So
cool. I would've been one of
freaking-
them.
you would have.
Yeah.
Would have been some badass women out there.
In your
So
past
I
life, you
think
were.
that's super cool. But it's really had like a huge impact on the town in Prescott in general. So Prescott's like a super small town. And when you go, the rodeo is so huge. So like bigger than like what we feel here in Norco or what some of these other small towns might feel. They expect 35,000 visitors.
What?
It's a week-long rodeo.
All
And
right.
35,000 visitors come in just to go to this pro-sanctioned rodeo. You have to buy your tickets a year in advance just to get your tickets there.
Well, I say next year we
Jesus.
head over there.
I know, right? Yes.
Can we get a flag?
We're
know.
working
You're
on
laughing,
it.
but I'm not.
A question that my brain just thought of when you were talking about 35,000 people is how come all these places have these small town rodeos and it's their community putting it on and all these visitors come, 35,000 people, that's a lot. I can't imagine what, Brawley has or Pico Rivera and the Texas ones have. How come there's not more people involved in rodeo? Everyone
It's-
comes to see it, but they don't take any of that home with them to then spread. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always talk about our rodeos and what it means to us, but do the viewers ever take home a part of that rodeo and want to do it themselves?
I will say when I was younger, when my grandparents or my grandma, she bought me a pair of boots and she took me to the rodeo, and after that I was like, oh my gosh. I saw them dragging the girl behind the horse on the little sled, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do that. It's like, I want to do that. And ever since then I was like, I'm going to do something with horses. But at the time I had like nobody around me that was into horses besides them, so.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, Mel, I can give you a small little snapshot answer. From Sydney's days of mutton busting practice, there was a cute little family in town, Ricky and Allie Hallen,
Yes.
and their
so sweet.
kids are really good at all
So
sorts of
good.
rodeo events. But there's something out there called the California Junior Rodeo Association.
Yes.
And they are looking for junior rodeo members because it is a dying sport.
Oh.
So, a lot of kids these days, their efforts are all spent in things like soccer and football, that a lot of the parents are not investing their children in rodeo sports. So it's
Absolutely.
actually a sad thing to watch because rodeo is dying. And so, a lot of them say, a lot of people are really trying to advocate to get their kids in the California Junior Rodeo Association, specifically here in California, but just in rodeo in general, because it is something where people go to watch it, but they're not investing their kids to actually get them involved in rodeo. So it's
Something to look into.
Another place that's trying to get like more junior riders would be AK Bucking Bulls. They started that Pacific Coast Junior Riding Academy or something like that, but I know that they're really big on like getting kids out there in rodeos and there, so you guys
The
should really
future.
look into them.
They are the future of rodeo.
They really are, they're really big on the future of rodeo.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely get your kids in the rodeo sport.
So I'll leave you guys with a few things that, aside from the fun facts of the 35,000 visitors from the, I almost said Brawley Rodeo, from the Prescott Rodeo. So there's a couple of things that I think are pretty cool. The arena is the same arena since 1888. So when you go to that arena, that is the same exact
And it
arena.
holds 35,000 people, or people like.
They have 35,000 visitors come through.
Oh, but there's not like 35,000.
And not,
people
like,
in the stands.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And then, but the stands are huge. Like they have arenas, like arena seats that go all the way down. It's almost like a racetrack. And then they have box seats that are down below that are like actual box seats.
Super cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. And then the other thing was, and this is in here as a myth, but it was a myth that people tried to validate for a very long time, that one of the oldest cowboy shows that they had there was called the Cowboys riding wild wolves as part of the show. So how mutton busting is like a thing, they'd come out on these like big wild wolves.
Like dire wolves.
Like dire wolves, yeah.
Like the wolves from
believe it.
They're
Twilight.
bringing them back.
There's no way.
I don't know. It says it's a proven truth. So I don't know.
Plot
Not a
twist.
tiger.
Plot twist is that the scientists are bringing back dire wolves so that cowboys can ride them at rodeos.
I'm gonna bring a liger.
I'm just saying it's a
Said
possibility.
tiger, I want to be like Carol Baskin.
It's a lion and a tiger.
Didn't. Vote for Pedro.
So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed my my little spiff on the Fresket Rodeo. All right, girls. Let's cinch this up.
Thank you guys so much for watching our 15th episode of Untalked Podcast. Make sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe.
Make sure to tune in every Monday on YouTube, our Untacked podcast. But also, make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Make sure you get the classy, sassy, and a little badassy. And make sure to always clean your tack.
If you want.
Bye.
I know.
Oh, speaking of the flag, it's not a flag, but what you got on your belt over there, Mariko?
Oh my goodness, I got my Untacked podcast belt buckle.
We should have made this our 10 seconds. Man, why am I barely thinking
I
about
know.
10 second stuff right now?
It's because we
My
have
hot
foggy.
laugh.
It's because we have foggy like sick brain. We're like,